I'm Nehemiah and welcome to Faith Family Homestead.
Hi guys. We're gonna go to the garden and finally pick potatoes. You have to have it on your face, child. Right there. The back.
Mommy, can I just put these lights out?
Yeah, the camera's on right now.
Hi guys.
What's your name? What's your name now?
Naya.
Turn around. What's your name?
My name is Naya.
Oh yeah?
And we're picking potatoes.
Good job. It is midday, so not the best time to be outside shooting a garden video, but this is the time that I have. I see some potatoes that are already starting to pop out the ground. These are the red potatoes. I'll put on the screen when I planted them. I don't really remember when I planted them out, but they're definitely dead, so they are ready to be harvested. The potatoes I picked before was that bed, and I planted that bed 2 weeks after I planted this bed, but that bed was dying because of the grubs. And so you can still see how some of them are looking a little dead, but they're mostly still green, where this has lots of spots and obviously mostly dead. And I can already see some potatoes in here. Today's the first day that it hasn't, today's the first day? Oh no, yesterday it didn't rain anyway. But I was trying to let the soil dry out. So now that we've let the soil dry out a little bit, it's time to start picking these potatoes. I am gonna do the whole bed, and we're gonna start at the front. I think I planted 60 something potatoes in this bed, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really remember. I would have to look back on that video and see, but I'm just gonna start by picking one plant and go from there, and then we'll measure our harvest. The half a bed that I did up there, I got 17 pounds, which isn't great for a half a bed compared to like the amount of planting space. It is more than what I planted, but still not the greatest. But that was because the grubs was eating that. So hopefully this bed did much better. But we'll measure and see. I don't remember if I planted all red potatoes in here or if I planted some white ones as well, because I can't remember what I got. But we'll start picking and we'll see.
Oh, potatoes! Oh, Mommy, I see a potato. A dead potato.
Oh yeah, that's really big. Just take them out, put them in a pile.
Whoa. Mommy, look at mine.
What?
Where do we put these plants?
Just put them at the sides.
Ouch! It bit you? There's some big potatoes over here. Mine, like grubs move it. It's big, but it's dirt.
Is that the biggest one you've gotten so far?
Yeah. The other ones are medium.
That's a big one.
Mm-hmm. I got 2 big ones so far.
Let me see, Naya. Oh, cool.
There's 2 potatoes over here, Mommy. Use the shovel next to you. I'm sorry, Maya, but I wasn't going with the shovel like that. Put the whatever. Ew, there's another grub. The grub's on a move.
Wow, so already these potatoes, that was 2 that grew together, are much bigger than the ones in the previous bed. I forgot to I turned back on my drip, and so I can feel that it watered recently.
Oh, I forgot to kill this grub. Here. There's some big potatoes over here. Oh, like this. It's big, but it's dirt. I can spray out the dirt.
So we have been finding grubs in this bed as well, but seems the potatoes are much bigger, and we'll see how much we get when we weigh them. But it's interesting that there are grubs in this bed as well. So something interesting about these red potatoes is they're coming out massive. Like that one's really big.
I could like juggle them or something.
Yeah, like they're big. See, there's so many grubs. Let me show you how many we've taken out so far. We're squishing them as we take them out, but there's a bunch of red wigglers in here as well, which, if you're not familiar, red wigglers create the worm casting.
Mommy, there's so much worms right here.
Yeah, you can leave them in there.
You
can leave them in there.
Okay.
But we're taking the grubs out, leaving the red wigglers in. We're squishing the grubs, but you can see this dark spots right here. It's because we have the red wigglers in here, and that is their poop. So they call it black gold. And how we have this is because I cleaned out the rabbit. Underneath the rabbits, and that's where we have our composting worms. And we thought we got out all of the red wigglers, but obviously we did not, and that is what we covered these potatoes with. It's like straw and rabbit poop, and obviously there were still red wigglers in it, and so they've just been living in this bed creating more red wigglers, which I'm not mad about it.
They're mad at me. I'm mad at the boy bad.
No, I need you not to leave the bottom of the potatoes.
Ew, Mommy, these rubbers for me. I think you have to put it straight up like that.
No, stop it. I don't want them. I want to know if they're trying to go away. I squish them. You squish them. No, don't put them next to the potatoes. Leave the potatoes in the pot. Whoa. So calm. Wow, it's huge. So something interesting about these red potatoes is they're coming out massive. Like that one's really big. So we have half the bed done, and this is the potato piles we have, 2, and then we have a 3rd pile over there. Oh yeah, and then we have a 4th pile right there, and we still have the other half of the bed to do. It already looks like we're at more than 17 pounds, which is what we got from half of that bed, or a little over half, like 60% of that bed. And I would say there's probably way more grubs. Watch out, Nia, you're stepping on some of them. This is just our pile of grubs that we've been taking out the bed. Anaya has her own pile over there.
Is this an old potato?
We are squishing them. Is it an old potato? I don't know. Is it still hard?
Yeah, it's kind of hard, I guess.
Yeah, just take it out and we'll see. It could be an old potato. So we're killing them, and then Anaya has her own pile of grubs over there. But I wanted to show you the soil. Like, all of that black dots is worm castings. Like, they've made this soil so good.
They probably have worm babies.
Yeah, there's lots of worms, composting worms in here. The soil looks so rich and black. Those little tiny potatoes were just like leaving in here. But this ground looks so great. I'm so happy with, yeah, besides grubs, yes. But all the little blacky flakes of, it's called black gold, looks amazing. It feels nice now that the sun is, or the clouds is over the sun.
That's good.
We've been getting some massive sized potatoes out of this bed.
It does look good.
And it's so good. I'm so happy about it. Even though we have probably, I would say, I've found more grubs in this bed, like I was saying. I'm gonna leave these little tiny potatoes in this bed because we are planning on planting a second wave of potatoes anyway. And so just leaving the potatoes in this bed to sprout again is fine with me. But I did order, once I saw that I had grubs. Yeah, just leave it in the bed. Once I saw that we had grubs in the other bed, I went ahead and ordered beneficial nematodes as well as milky spores, which is what I ordered the last time we were suffering with grubs this bad 2 years ago. And it seemed like it worked because last year I didn't see any grubs. And I was reading the reviews and like the application when I went to order it again, and it did say that you should reapply it. I don't remember how often, and I didn't reapply it. So I won't say that the product didn't work. I will say that the product worked because last year I didn't struggle with grubs at all. And so I bought it again. I bought a bigger bag of milky spores and beneficial nematodes. I haven't put them down yet because I was waiting to get this harvest up. So now that we're gonna have all of these potatoes out of this bed and cleared out and leveled out, I'm going to go ahead and then add the milky spores and the beneficial nematodes. The nematodes have been sitting in the refrigerator because they need to stay cold, and the milky spores are sitting in room temperature inside of my glass room. I need to show you this potato. Look how big. I think these are the biggest potatoes I've grown in the how many ever years. This is my 3rd year growing potatoes in this garden, and I would say, of course, not all of them are that big, but for the most part, most of them are huge, and I would say are the biggest potatoes I've grown so far. And I'm going to put that on the worms that are inside of here, and the rabbit manure I put on top, because that's the only thing I've done differently. Usually I don't fertilize my potatoes. Previous years I don't fertilize my potatoes past the beginning, like when I put them in the ground, and sometimes I don't even fertilize them when I put them in the ground. And so I think fertilizing them, putting these putting the rabbit manure, and then in turn, not on purpose, but putting the worms, the composting worms, has really helped bring this soil to life. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm so happy about how this soil looks. I would say for the most part the potato harvest doesn't seem affected by the amount of grubs that was in this bed. I'm telling you, there was more grubs in this bed than I think in the other bed. But we also got way bigger potatoes. That could have also been because this bed was planted first, and obviously we left it longer. But I do still have that other half of that bed to pull, so we'll pull them. And I'm glad that I only planted red and gold potatoes. That's what I thought I did, but I couldn't remember. And we'll weigh these red potatoes once we finish the whole bed. There are some that have damage and we're just leaving them. I'm not gonna weigh them, I'm not eating them. After we get these all inside of this bucket, I'll show you the full. My daughter Nael is bringing all of the potatoes over. I'll show you how much potatoes we got. We'll weigh it. I'll show you how many grub piles we have and all the things. We're almost finished. We're at the edge of this bed. Nia, you just covered a potato right here, behind, right there. Yeah, there's a bit. Oh, ouch! There's a potato.
Can someone help me? These potatoes are hard since I have two hands here.
This has a hole, bury that. And that one. Nia, if you're seeing any potatoes have holes, put them back.
I just feel with it. You just don't put them all in there? Hey. No, don't even try. Yeah, it's like you're just throwing them up and come to your hand.
Don't even try.
Ouch. Now you're wasting your time of trying to do something that you can't. Okay.
I need water.
Nope, that's all. Okay, my face is sweating.
So this is going to be interesting. I don't know. I'm probably going to have my son get this. Those are weeds. We're not going to put those back in the bed. You can throw them over the fence though. I'm going to have to get my son to carry this bushel. I'm pretty sure that's what they call it, bushel of potatoes. But these are the grubs we killed over here. There's a pile. There's some here. And there's some more right here, all throughout here. So definitely lots of grubs. And we just buried any potatoes that were gross. We just buried them back into the ground because I am planning on growing potatoes again, or any like tiny small ones like this. We just put back in. So I'm gonna have to flatten out this bed, but for right now we went through 2 times and I think we have all of the potatoes out. The second time we went through with shovels. We did find a few more grubs and a few more potatoes. Now put my milky spores and my nematodes now that I've gotten all these potatoes pulled out. We still have this half a bed to pull, and I think my kids are all on break right now getting some water, and I'm really thirsty as well, so, and I didn't bring any water out here with me, so I think we're gonna get water and then we'll start on the second bed. Okay, I went inside and we weighed that. I grabbed my milky spores. This is for Japanese beetles specifically, so not all type of grubs, because apparently there's different grubs and I didn't know that. But these are for Japanese beetle prevention, and I do have Japanese beetles because I saw them on my grapevines yesterday, and I know I have grubs, so I'm assuming they're Japanese beetle grubs. So this is what I bought. The beneficial nematodes are still inside my refrigerator, but I'm going to, now that we got this bed all dug out, I'm going to apply this, what is it called? Milky spores. It says, I didn't know that this says it's a 2-year program, and so you're supposed to apply it spring, summer, and fall consecutive for 2 years. I did not do that. Like I said, the last time I applied this was 2 years ago, and I didn't apply it to all my beds. And so I think this time I will continue to do this. So each bed is going to use 1/4 pound, and if there's 15, if I have 15 4x6 beds, this can do 15. Did I just do that right? No, 30. This bag can do 30 4x16 beds, which I don't even think I have 30 4x16 beds if my mathing is right. I don't really know because my brain isn't really working right now. What I do know is I'm going to measure out 1/2 or 1/4 pound, and so that I can put the right amount in this bed and put them in all the beds that do not have landscape fabric. So all of my tomato beds, I'm not going to put tomato in my pepper beds, my pumpkin bed. I'm just going to be putting these on the beds that are uncovered at the moment, and then once I start harvesting, then we'll go ahead and start laying these other places. Well, it said to spread that out, which we did, and to water it in well, and I am going to turn back on my drip so that will be able to water it in well. It said within 24 hours. My drip comes on every 12 hours, so I know my drip will be able to water in that well. We did do the raspberry / strawberry bed that has random squash growing in it, and we did also put it in the other potato bed, and like I said, we already turned back on my drip yesterday, so I'm confident that I don't have to water this in. But yay, thank you guys for hanging out with us while we got over 50 pounds, what was it, 56 pounds of potatoes out of that bed, which did way better than that other bed. The gold potatoes, I harvested probably 60 to 70% of that bed and only got 17 pounds. But then again, like I said, that bed had died, so that's why I pulled it. There were lots of grubs eating those potatoes, and I planted those potatoes 2 weeks after I planted these potatoes, so these potatoes had longer to grow, even though there were lots of grubs inside there. I am going to set a regimen so that I remember to keep applying this milky spores, because I do know it works. Last year I didn't struggle with Japanese beetles, and then this year, but I did have like lots of squash bugs, and this year I see Japanese beetles again. And so if you are struggling with Japanese beetles or grubs, I do suggest getting you some milky spores and follow the regimen. I'm going to set an alarm, like I just said, to have it ring so I can follow the rules on the back of the bag that it said to plant it in, what is that, spring, fall, and summer. So that's what I'm going to do, so that way I can at least do my part and follow the instructions based off the bag. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. I think that's the most potatoes I have harvested, because even if I would have did that bed, bed was 4x16, even if I did probably 9 feet of that bed and only got 17 pounds, you know, even if it was half the bed, only doubling it would get me 34 pounds, where this whole bed gave me 56 pounds. It still probably could have did better because I left lots of holy potatoes and lots of small potatoes in here, but I'm really happy with what I got. And I think I grew the biggest potatoes I've grown this year than I have in previous years. So again, for like the third time, thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.